Good morning, guys. Welcome to FYI. It's Friday 29th of April
Yes, it is.
2022.
Believe it or not. Yes, it is.
Guys, this month we're at the ending. That's basically it.
Yep.
And this morning, Friday morning,
Last is tomorrow.
T- TGIF. That's how I go. This morning, I did not want to get out of my bed. For those of you who were waiting on me this morning, I was a little bit crawling. So my apologies for that. But I hope you had a wonderful
We
evening.
all have those days when we're crawling.
I was.
All have those days.
I was.
Crawling.
I think it was deliberate on my part, so I have to admit that. I think I took for granted the little ease of traffic.
You get it too nice. You get it too
You
nice.
get it
now.
too nice. You get a little while, but you get it too nice. So, guys, it's a pleasure being here with you this morning for FYI. I know that you're up, you're ready to go. Siobhan McDonald, girl, I read your comment even before we came live. And I was like,
Fuel.
It's fuel for the spirit. So thank you so much for the support, all of you out there. It's always good to know that the work we're doing is appreciated on your end. So thank you so much for being here with us every single morning. Thank you for doing your part in sharing the live stream, making sure everyone gets the credible information, like you said. And I know that the diaspora, all feedback that we've been getting, persons are very, very appreciative of the work that we are doing. And thank you. We feel so humbled by your presence on a daily basis.
Yes, we do. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Believe it or not, it's Friday.
What are you going to be doing tomorrow? I like to get into people's business early in the morning. We can't just come and just bring you the news as is. We love to get into your business.
What's the plans for Saturday? What's the plans? Let us know. Please do.
The entire weekend. A lot of places are gradually opening back and so on.
Yep.
So a lot of places that you were not going to be able to visit prior, you will be able to go to now. So guys out there,
and more folks are getting outside. More folks are getting outside now.
Yeah, but we always implore that you keep safe. We don't want anybody, especially our FYI family, to be going out there after listening to us telling you to be safe. We don't want to hear about you not being safe. So be safe on the roadways. Be safe with your COVID, with the measures that you take to protect yourself and the others around you. Be it wearing a mask, sanitizing your hands and all of those things. Just don't decide that you can drop it. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
All right, gradual processes.
Yeah. So Kevin Roberts, when you all get outside, be safe. And Polly and Charles and Easton Duke, Amabel Clement and Lynette Jacobs, all the other folks, Cecile Ogle.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Well, we have, as you can see, GPL decided to do us a favor this morning.
I don't know which tier one. I want the coffee tier, I want the
coffee
or the TT, the milk tea.
Well, Cheryl have it both this morning. Yep. I see Kirk Anthony Phillips is here with us. Good morning to you, Paulie and Schultz. I see Shirley Crichton, Victor Tlak, Allison Pearson, Vashti Magnot. Hey, Vashti, how are you?
Say hi to Rupert, Vashti.
Vashti said, them guys checking you out. Wow, thank you.
Say hi to
Must appreciate it.
And we here poured out, we heart every soul. We know it's a social gathering now to be checked out and so on.
You gotta wonder how you wear something, how you fix your hair.
All manner of things you gotta think about.
But persons have got used to my hair. I have this stubborn way about me. It's like, I'm gonna keep it. You're gonna say, oh, change it this time. I'm gonna keep it however I want to.
Yeah. And look, we got Alex Bowman, Urban Don Cook, Shirley Crichton. It's all about the hair.
So Shirley Crichton is saying we have low voltage, but for persons that, once you were living in Guyana, you're going to know about these trials. The diaspora.
Load shedding,
low voltage.
accumulation of darkness. All of it.
Cascading shutdown.
Yeah, the whole set of it.
Guys, we were out.
So it is.
After we left you guys yesterday morning, we actually...
What did you do?
We actually, yourself and I...
I was there too.
We actually went out. We decided that on the spot,
we had enough.
Just go out in front of GPL for a couple minutes and lend our voice in protest to this blackout. It cannot.
We were affected. I mean.
Exactly right, and it cannot be the new normal. That's what we're saying. It cannot be that you wake up on any given day and you should be expecting that you're gonna have blackouts sometimes for ridiculous lengths of hours. and all of those things. So we persons have to lend their voice. And I want to just make the note that we have been saying that when you remove the exports, that this is what you're left with. When
Yeah.
you put persons that have no
Yeah.
idea of
You
how
left
to
with Dindiyal
manage,
Dindiyal.
my goodness, yes.
That's a challenge we have in every front and every sector in this country.
Every
There are
sector.
major challenges. I mean, ordinarily, you have challenges, but
Yeah.
you have major challenges on every front in this country. And that's just some of the things some of the issues that we're following.
I see
Just some
Keith
of them.
Dowling here with us this morning. Also, Mr. Ford is here with us this morning. So many persons, FYI family is growing. We love each and every one
We're
of
not
you.
complaining.
Oh my goodness.
By
We
any
love
means.
each and every one of you. And I'm telling you that my little experience interacting with the FYI folks in Barbados make me want to go other places and to meet up with them too. Because if they listen, Barbados sets a
Energize.
high standard.
Energize.
So
Energize. Tell us about
Barbados
some of
set a
the folks
high.
you may have had in Barbados.
Well, actually, I did meet someone that said, "Tell Sherrod it's Shauna Job's sister."
Yes,
right.
These are nice people. These are nice,
So,
nice folks, and
so oh yes,
we all
that
went
individual.
we all went to the same church.
So I actually stopped at her place of business over there in Barbados, and
Mhm.
she was very happy to see me. She's like, "You just gotta tell Sherrod you met Shauna Job's sister." I said, "Okay,
That's why I
whatever
need
it is,
passport.
I'm gonna
Yep.
deliver the message." Oh, lovely. So there you have Orange Josiah in the middle, and none other than Deborah Clark, folks.
Deborah, one of our favorites. Deborah, look at you, girl, you're outside.
And let me tell you, that photo
Deborah and
was
Oren.
actually taken in the parking lot outside of the hotel. Deborah and Oren actually came there the morning to
Wow.
see me before I left.
Wow.
These are our
That's
people.
the love. That's the
Oh my!
love.
And Deborah was
We
trying
feel
to
the
give.
love, Deborah.
Deborah was trying to give me some Barbados flying fish to bring home. But you know me, Shad. I had one carry on and I was it.
Yeah.
I had space, not even for a pen.
I'm gonna have to go for my flying fish.
Yes,
I've never had flying fish.
But Deborah did send the newspapers for you.
Yes, and we're grateful, Deborah. We're grateful for the Barbados Nation, the Sunday Sun, and all the others.
And I think both Deborah and Oren sent some other things to you.
Thanks for the things. Thanks for the things.
So,
folks, thanks for the things.
You have Samuel Jacks there. Actually, Samuel Jacks is another person.
Samuel, respect and manners.
Samuel was actually my designated driver to go around and meet some
Samuel,
guys.
You're also helpful.
Very encouraging. His wife, Jewel, wonderful person. I had Guyanese roti and curry because of Samuel.
Oh wow!
Samuel's wife made roti and curry for me. But Samuel did put a note "Eat for you" and share it. So I did.
Alexa.
Oh my God! So for folks that don't know that there is the Minister of Education in Anguilla, and I know Sharon, you had spoken about.
She was part of the conference too.
Yes, she was there at the conference.
Awesome.
She was there at the conference.
Awesome. We love it.
Minister of Education. And you know what was interesting about that is that the young people there, be it government, opposition, wherever, if you were representing a specific organization, the young people there happen to have similar ideologies and train of thoughts as to how we should be pushing the various countries forward. And give me a glimmer of hope.
You being a part of the process in a meaningful way.
It gives me a glimmer of hope because persons understand that no one person, no one country, no one party, no one organization has the answer. So everybody is of the cognizant knowledge that you have to come together in order to create this
I hope you are hearing.
Right?
Powers that be and the others.
So it actually gives a good it's very inspiring to know that we are not alone here in Guyana as young people trying to push for a better Guyana, for more inclusion. Exactly. And that was the entire conference because
awesome.
The entire conference was basically based on that. And I tell persons over and over that we in Guyana sometimes believe that these organizations are so alien to what is going on here, but when you go and you interact with persons, you will see the females. Let me talk about females. Just allow me to segue here for a bit. Females in other countries, when it comes to persons in government, women in government, young women especially in government, we have so many similar experiences that we can share. And what one of the things we realize is that we need to reach out to each other to let each other know what is
Is that a
going
fact?
on
Wow.
in our own
That's new.
country. I don't know.
That's new. Okay.
So it's very inspiring. It was good all
Yeah.
together.
Yeah. I'm happy you enjoyed yourself
But it's not. It was a
in the
learning.
conference and out.
It was a learning experience. I must say
Excellent.
that it was
Excellent.
a learning
All of life
experience.
is. All of
Goodness.
life is. Yep. Yep. What's in the morning papers today? That
Well,
should
the
be very interesting.
first thing,
Should be
the
interesting.
first thing in the morning paper is something that I'll have to go right back to what I was talking about,
Talk
because
to me.
the morning papers you were seeing there,
It's like the
disappointed.
sentence fly, like the bird. I don't know.
Sharzad is seen a fly, guys. I've not seen it
Yes,
yet.
it was like right ahead, sir.
I don't know.
So right
It's
there.
the morning papers, the first heading says disappointed with Dr. Vindhya and other females
Yes,
silent
yes,
on
yes.
the dildo
Yeah,
issue.
yeah.
And Mans and I mentioned this a little bit yesterday because we were talking about the whole conference and workshop was dealing with good governance and transformational leadership as it pertains to women in leadership positions, right? And it was quite strange that organizations like Parliamerica, UN Women, and all of those other organizations, Commonwealth, well, I know Sewell had some knowledge, but other organizations did not even know that this comment even happened in Guyana.
yeah.
So that was a bit of an eye-opener as to how far we need to push. And sometimes the
Send me the video.
fight is not even just not just at home, but the fight has to be carried to the levels of these institutions to champion the cause to stop things like violence against women, abuse of women altogether, to champion the cause of equality for women, equal respect, and all of those things. I do have a pen in my hands. It's not just you. I know you'll be seeing things. What? The pen is real. The pen is real. Yeah, I didn't see it. I'm still questioning. The pen is real.
But I'm happy you had a great time. And it's noteworthy that this issue is still in the press.
Yes.
And the comment that it was actually, I think, a letter to the editor. And people are still incensed. That's the main thing here about this dildo comment that was made in the National Assembly.
Because it can't be business as usual. How is it business as usual?
But I'd be happy to read some of that because I think it's interesting. I think it's very interesting what was it. I mean, my eyes not as young as yours. But it says here, the letter writer says, I'm disappointed that Dr. Vindhya Prasad and other female ministers have been publicly silent over the dildo comment and the latest sex scandal making the rounds on social media. The dildo man has not learned lessons on previous encounters, as do several other ministers of government and functionaries. They must be reprimanded and held accountable for their actions. It is just a matter of time before another sexual scandal erupts. Dr. Vindhya is a strong woman, a heroine to many, not only in Guyana, but around the region and internationally, is what this person is saying in the morning papers. She does not abuse her authority or power and is respected of all. She gives a fair hearing and treatment with resources. She is a no-nonsense woman. She stands up for rights. She tells it as it is, very bluntly. This according to this person, very bluntly. She's known to stand up to the male powers that be in the government and in the PPP. She spoke out against the shenanigans and skullduggery in the selection of the PPP candidate. This is interesting.
I remember that.
Right? She spoke out against she spoke out against the shenanigans and skullduggery in the selection of the PPP candidate.
Several women did, actually, several.
It says here that she was never afraid to speak up at the Central Committee meetings, and she has impeccable integrity. She is among a few ministers who are not corrupt. She is not on the take. No drawbacks. She throws you out of her office if you hint of a drawback. And for this noble quality, she is disliked by her colleagues and fellow MPs. Wow.
I didn't know that. Vindhya?
You got some others that she know on the drawback, apparently.
My goodness.
Interesting. It says here, finally, her colleagues would like to see her out of Parliament and Cabinet because she embarrasses them with her honesty and decency. And drink a little coffee for the boys.
Listen, I think the most outstanding part
Yeah.
of that entire piece is
Yeah.
the ending. She embarrasses them with her honesty
Yeah.
and decency.
And these are fellow government ministers.
This is how is it embarrassing if somebody is honest?
Mhm.
You know, how does honesty embarrass you?
Mhm.
Honesty. I know we've been talking about it a little while. I think you were the one that actually mentioned that if you have fraud charges, you have this, you have that.
Mhm.
Oh, you
Mhm.
got the top of the list, you know,
Mhm.
most favored.
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
know, so there
Wow.
you have it. This person seems to have some inside
Yeah.
information
Yeah. Yeah.
that we don't
FYI.
have, you know, FYI.
FYI. Folks, we want to
But
see those shares. We want to see those emojis
so
as well. This is things to share.
my goodness,
She
most
what? She
definitely.
embarrasses them with her honesty, decent. Yeah.
Vinya, I didn't know.
It's stuff
Well,
for books.
but probably that is why she has been silent on this matter because she
Yeah.
doesn't want to further embarrass them
Yeah.
by speaking out against
But if this is her true
abuse of
nature,
women.
if this is her true nature based on people who know her well,
Mhm.
you know, she got a lot of work to do. She got a lot of
Mhm.
catching up to do. She got
Yeah.
a lot of work.
Well, if I do know some a little bit of the PVP politics is that Vinny have a very strong base within, so that's the reason why she's even there.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, being part of the Dharmic Sabal and
Interesting.
all of those
Interesting.
things.
You know,
So
another thing making the morning papers, I was looking at the British Virgin Island beacon, the BVI beacon, that's the name of the papers there. The
mm,
premier, the head of state, right? They have they're still part of the crown,
oh,
right?
okay,
So they
okay.
have a premier who is some of the other stuff making the news. Um, some some of the other stuff making the news, guys. Some of the other stuff making the news is that we'll circle back to the BVI. This British actress, you know her, you should know her from Bridgerton, Twitter.
Hmm.
She has been vacationing in Turks and Caicos.
Well, anyone that has been looking at anyone that has been looking at Bridgerton, I can tell you that she was the one of the she played one of the key roles in
Mhm.
season one of Bridgerton, and I would know because I
Tell me why you would know.
Bridgerton just have two series, and thus far I have just gone binge watch both of the seasons too
Wow.
through to the end.
A binge watcher, aren't we?
I have. I
Aren't
just
we?
started and I just it was a good weekend, a 4-day weekend, and I'm like, this is the time to binge watch
Yeah.
this, and I did.
So as I said, she was spotted vacationing in the Caribbean, and you know,
People like the Caribbean, you know.
and I hear
It's
Turks
only
and Caicos is a
Caribbean folks
beautiful
like
island.
to run
To the north, but
to
not
the
running to the
north.
Caribbean.
For some reason, people never like where they are. So
Mhm.
I don't know why. I don't know why. But
And here is the young lady, Phoebe,
yes.
and here she is in Turks and Caicos. I think
Mm.
I'd like to go to Turks and Caicos. If it's good enough for Phoebe.
She's quite an amazing actress, you know,
Yep, yep,
a lot
yep,
of work, done a lot of recognition given through
yep.
her role in Bridgerton. And for folks that don't know, I actually spoke about Bridgerton a little bit prior, but because it has this, it brings this difference in the fact that they bring the ancient England, this whole setting and all of that. But then
They're kind of a
they
modern
have
way,
no
a modern
this
twist.
then they have no distinction
Yeah,
in ethnicity and race.
yeah,
Like it's non-existent. You know, that
yeah.
there's clearly class
There's a
class
utopia.
separation, you know, right?
There's a utopia.
And
There's a lot of sex in it too, but
no, I think there is some bits of content like that, but it's not a lot. But they did bring in both season one and season two that bit of steaminess at some point.
stimulus.
Yes.
It's really calls it stimulus. But as we were circling to the
Yes.
fact that the premier is now guest of the U.S. government.
Mhm.
He was actually arrested in Miami, I think, on his way back to
Who is
BVI,
that?
the premier of the BVI. That's what we were
Okay.
circling back to. The head of state there.
My
He was
goodness.
arrested, and so we're following that. And you know, Uncle Sam got his eyes on a lot of people, right?
Hmm.
You and I perhaps sleep comfortable at night because we know
Isabella
you
rings a
know,
bell.
we know we right up there according to the letter writer with India in the letter writer it's to be believed.
Oh my
We sleep
goodness.
comfortably when the night comes. But that being said, we're gonna watch on that front with
Well,
the BVI.
Vin, you need to, if those words are true
Hmm.
about her,
Hmm.
she needs to distinguish herself a
Yes.
little,
Yeah.
way more
Because Vinya's on
from
that
the
very
flock.
side that a
Yeah,
lot of filth in the National Assembly is being spewed, and she just sits there quietly. So I
yeah,
find it very hard to reconcile this person. I'm not saying it's not so,
yeah.
but I find it very hard, having spent close to 2 years now in the National Assembly and hear a lot of stuff
Hmm.
that filters over from the other side, to marry that with this person here.
She probably has an earpiece in her ear or something.
Oh,
She probably just doesn't
probably,
hear or something.
probably.
I'm
So,
just
so,
saying.
so the BVI bit is what we picked up, glancing. Well, it was all over social media yesterday with the
Yes.
premiere, and taking a look at the BVI Beacon. That's one of the papers
Ah,
here
yes.
this morning. But if we head to the morning trend, that is, we see that for a lot of students, the CXC has been postponed. Believe it or not, Twitter, CXC has been postponed.
I believe it. I have a daughter right in CXC. I am
You what?
I have I am
You
in, believe it or not.
you
Believe it or not, I have a child right in CXC this year. So I am most grateful for the
When
fact.
did that happen? Somebody smash the emoji button for that. Give us a share for that. Jarita has a child right in CXC. Wow.
Oh my goodness, yeah. I have a
Wow.
daughter right in CXC this year, and listen, I tell her all the time. I am not like a lot of. I know a lot of peers is like, oh, you have to do this and you have to do that, and I literally said, I just need you to pass your exams,
Mm.
because after some time, after having gone through the academic all throughout my life, I've been trying to bury my head in the books
Mhm.
and make sure that you get a certain grade and all that. And you realize that, hey, everyone has the same opportunity once you pass these exams, to go and further your
Yeah.
studies, to
Yes.
distinguish yourself in whatever field you want to. And then for that, I tell my children, just make sure that you just pass the exams, you do well, you do your best,
Mhm.
obviously, and just don't give the pressure, because my daughter, for some reason, she gets extremely nervous and she has extreme anxiety and all. I said, you need to breathe. I told her that I read somewhere that if you chew in a specific flavor chewing gum whilst you're studying, and then you're chewing the same flavor chewing gum when you're doing the exam, it gives your brain a little tick to remember exactly what you are saying.
Sounds like a
Hey,
child after my own
nothing,
own heart.
nothing actually. There is nothing that you can not try when you're
Yeah.
going to that
Yeah.
particular exam. So I know that the students are very appreciative of it. I know personally I have some beef with CXC, and the fact that they have started in recent years to have this group work for SBAs, group work done for SBAs. And I think it's whilst it could be an advantage for some students, it's a big disadvantage for other
This is
students.
UG all over again.
Yes, so I have an issue with that, but I
UG
don't
all over
know.
again.
I know it gives the teachers a little more flexibility and a little more lenience on their part
Mhm.
when it comes to the marking of the SBAs and the allotment of grades and so forth. But guys, group work and how that is. So, and strange enough, I was speaking to some of the very folks at that I met over there at our conference, and they were saying that they have the same issues in their country. The reports have been coming in, persons have been complaining about that particular new phase that CXC has gone into with doing group works for that. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that the whole reasons that the exams have been pushed back by 3 weeks is because persons wanted the SBAs to be given a little more extension for the submission of those grades. And we would know school was out and all of that, and the SBAs are being done in groups. So now a lot of students did not have the connectivity
Mhm.
and all of that to reach out and work together. Some of them could not have been reached throughout the entire process of
Wow.
school being out. So they
Wow.
have to have
COVID.
that physical
Effects of COVID.
classroom to
Yeah.
do it. And because they have to do group work now, everybody is in shambles trying to pull the pieces together at the end of it. So because of that, they were asking for an extension for the SBA grades to go in. And hence, they just extended everything by 3 weeks.
So
So
there's that, and there's that
yeah.
on the CXC front. And while we were in school and so forth, Amanda's son is graduating
Oh my
high school
goodness.
today.
Listen, Amanda's son is going to be
Am I correct? I think so.
accepting several awards.
Several awards. He's bright
Several
like your mother.
awards today.
He's bright
Listen.
like your mother.
So I have to say a big shout out. I messaged her and I said, please give my congratulations to him. But I have to say congratulations to him publicly and congratulations on all the hard work. I know your mother's going to be extremely proud of you. And we here at FYI, we are extremely proud of you also. Continue to do great
Yes,
things.
yes, yeah.
Yes.
And congrats to Mansa, it's a teamwork
Yes.
on this front.
Yes.
Bring children, and you coming up right there too, to bring them through the whole high school
You have
experience
to.
and so on.
I am so proud
it's a team
of.
effort.
I'm so proud of everything about my daughter. She's like very humble,
Mhm.
very quiet child.
Mhm.
I've never had an issue. Sometimes I see parents with 16-year-old and they're pulling their hair out, and I wonder, like, I don't understand, like, what did I do distinctly different? Because my children are not like that. They're.
Thankful.
I'm so thankful.
Yeah. Some parents got their hands full
Oh my
on
goodness,
that front.
right?
But congrats to Amanda and her son and the whole family, the entire family on that. Several awards. He's graduating high school and heading on to higher learning.
The Walton Desert family, bloodline is strong there, young
high
man.
learning. On the trend front, folks, on the trend front, verification. Believe it or not, you're flying overseas again, Rita. Verification for incoming passengers in terms of their vaccination status. The ministry is now putting that on the airlines. So in the airlines, the ministry won't have the booth set up there and all that stuff anymore. The airlines don't have to verify that persons are vaccinated or not and so forth. And some of the territories now, you don't have to state whether you're vaccinated or not. It's not required anymore.
Well, we have been very much haphazard in the way in which persons come through and how. And what has been required and not required, I can say that even when it comes to whether or not you have to do antigen, the rapid test for the antigen, or if you have to do the PCR test, we have had so much confusion. And I know that when it comes to the verification, I know that we did have that desk and you had to go and you submit and whatever. But I think putting it over to the airlines is a phasing out mechanism of dealing with it, because once the airlines have that responsibility, the airlines is not concerned the least bit about your health standards and all of those things in your country. The airlines are the primary concern of any airline is to make sure that they maximize their profits.
Yeah, money
right? So that alone tells you what direction that is going to go in. Once it goes in that direction, the next thing is that you're going to have is that you don't have to submit it altogether, because every country would have a unique system that they use, different cards or whatever they're using. And no airline is going to be verifying all of the different cards and all of that to the same efficiency level as a country can verify those to be accurate and factual. So once it goes there, it opens the black market. Oh my God, everything is going to go haywire, and then a couple months down the line, nobody's going to have to submit that anymore.
Yeah, but this process is evolving, and we're going to continue to follow what's happening. The regulations and so on, they're being relaxed, a lot relaxed here.
Yeah, but you have to look at the numbers. You have to look at the numbers. But Gayani, we spoke about the numbers. But generally, the system should be that once you are doing proper testing and monitoring effectively what is going on the ground, and you'll be able to know how you can relax, move forward, evolve. But you know what we've been doing? We basically said we're not going to test the people anymore, and then we said, oh, we're not getting COVID numbers.
Yeah. Two persons tested positive is fine.
Oh my goodness.
Not accurate, but it's what it is.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
Judy, believe it or not, some schools weren't ready for reopening. And more people keep contacting us and saying, this is what's happening at our school. And quite recently, this is some of what we saw happening here at Kokwani primary school rather. Somebody contacted us and said that this building here, if we don't have this building fixed, over 150 pupils attending Kokwani Primary School will be affected. Right, because the building still isn't fixed. I wonder what folks did. I wonder what folks did throughout. The what do you call it? Easter vacation. One wonders. They said five classes have to be housed in this building because the new school building is overcrowded. And the person says, as a born resident, a community that was capable of building a new building, a new secondary school by self-help. This person says, I'm embarrassed, we cannot fix, a couple loose boards on the floor and stop the roof from leaking. A lot of schools seem not to have been ready for reopening. And, more and more folks keep contacting us on this one. I want to direct, folks' attention also to another issue somebody pointed out to us quite recently. This here is another secondary school, another primary school. I think they said even now, the school is still being fixed, right? Even now the school is still being fixed, and students are there. It's being painted. That was one of the stuff that really jumped out to us. They said this is Enterprise Primary School. This is on the East Coast, so you have Kukwani Primary way up in Region 10 there.
Yes.
Enterprise, which is on the East Coast, which is is now being fixed and painted, and school is in session.
Yeah.
So what happened? And it's not and we pointed out to, and the person said in this school too, you have some reports of faulty wiring in the building as well. And we were following the events at Tuckville recently, where students said they were being shocked. Literally shocked because wiring problems with the school.
But even worse, a little closer when it comes to a little more central. I would say that what's going on with the North Rumpelt Multilateral School, the school was literally burnt down, and absolutely nothing was really done to actually get those students back to a position that they would have an environment to actually attend school. I know persons there that are writing exams also. They have been in dire need of assistance. At some point in time, the teacher was asking persons, parents and so forth, if they can locate a room or anything that the children could use anywhere at anybody's house or to actually go and access technology. This is central, this is North Rumpelt Secondary School. The children don't have an IT lab. So many departments, classrooms completely burnt, books completely destroyed. And guess what? The ministry didn't see it fitting that they should go and give and have books accessible to the children in that school, because the other part of the school that was not burnt now is being utilized to house the children. Like the auditorium has been separated by chalkboards and so to facilitate classrooms and those things. The children are doing their part. The actual administration is doing the best they could with the resources that they don't have, if I can put it that way. And it is quite ridiculous that a school right here in Georgetown will not be able to have basic things like books, nothing done to actually have them access a computer lab, nothing organized right here.
Maybe to its detriment, North Rumpelt Multilateral School is in the south of the city, but it is an A-list school.
It is. It's an A-list school.
And little attention is being paid to it. Little attention.
And this has a lot. We can go down certain lines with this, but I'm not going to do that this morning. But one of the things that has been affecting the students is the fact the flooding also. We're talking about the fact that schools weren't ready to be reopened. These are the things that are real issues on the ground. You can have a school in central Georgetown, well, in Region 4, right in Georgetown, that as soon as little rain fall, students can't walk to certain classrooms and all of that. They're doing their best. The majority of the school was burned down. They're left with little tucks in corners in order to utilize to facilitate learning for children. And the least the ministry could do, you remember that, I think it was the Minister of Education that went there on the very day, we will rebuild, we will do everything, we will communicate with the parents in a very short time. They said they're going to, I can't remember the exact time, until now, nothing being done. These persons need to be called out, because students can't learn. It's not an environment to facilitate learning. Whatever is it that they're doing needs to be done, and needs to be done quickly.
This needs to be fixed. And this is just part of some of the challenges that we have. It's another challenge with noise nuisance in this country. People don't
know it's a nuisance.
Getting help in general. A lot of people, you have this meeting that's happening. The government having all these outreaches around the country, and one of the things we've been hearing, it's not been the kind of welcome party they thought it might have been. A lot of complaints about their officials. Folks, these are things they share the live stream for. These are things
Yeah.
to smash the emoji button about so that others get the valid and credible information. Lots of complaints are coming out. And in our segment this morning, which talks about what they said, what he said or she said,
Yeah.
some bit of information we saw there that we think is noteworthy, we think you all know about. It's a similar complaint that people have been making. And take a listen to this. I mean, this was in the newspapers about a day ago. You know what happened to the program yesterday morning, and so we missed it. But we really wanted to share this with you. You know, this is somebody who is crying out, a concerned resident of Richmond housing scheme. I think this is in New Amsterdam area there. They're asking, why can't the police do anything about noise complaint? Right? Listen to that. You know, you have a right as assistant director to have the peaceable enjoyment of the area in which you live.
Yeah.
Right? Especially the area closest to your home. Here's this person asking, a family hosted a party beginning on the evening of Saturday, the 23rd of April. The event was advertised for almost a month in advance on social media. Loud music with extremely heavy bass started playing from about 1900 hours. This bass was so heavy, the roof and the walls and the floor and even the wares in my kitchen were vibrating.
What?
Right? There was someone screaming various phrases and slangs and expletives over a microphone every few seconds. And then the letter writer goes on to state, you know, this is a real problem in this country. The letter writer goes on to say, I placed 3 calls. Sorry, this is Anna Regina, Richmond, right? Region 2. I placed 3 calls to the Anna Regina police station to report the noise nuisance, with the first call being placed at 21:30 hours. I was told by an officer that the patrol would be informed and they would take the necessary action. Nothing happened. Music still blasted from this party. And I can understand if you work hard, and whether you work hard or not, it's your place. Yeah, and you deserve peace and quiet. So I don't want to premise it with that, but this is a challenge. And I want to say that to say this. This is a real problem, folks, that is getting out of hand in this country, because we can marry what's happening there at Richmond in New Amsterdam with what's happening right here in Georgetown. There's a woman and residents, for instance, on Sheriff Street, who were complaining too, but a lot of loud music. And she even went on to say that, you know, the more they complain, is like the more emboldened these people are to retaliate.
Yeah.
Right? It's music from all sides now. And this story seems it might have a happy ending. We're going to look to see. But, you know, she sent they sent some footage that I think people are going to see now what really people go through, trying 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning to get some respite from a heavy day, and what people really and truly go through in this country.
But a couple of things on that, front, because it's good when you came to the ranks. I want to start off by saying that it's good when you came to the ranks, and when you know that in order for persons to have these parties to play music in residential areas, they have to get written permission from the local authority and from the police altogether. The police literally is responsible for issuing of actual permits for persons to play music above a certain decibels. And I can say that a lot of persons doesn't even know that there are things like decibel testers and all of those things, that persons should not be in violation of playing music at such a loud rate that it affects other people. And I want to also add to the fact that a lot of times you see a lot of businesses that would have a little bar, a little corner bar here and there, would be setting up in residential areas, and they would venture to blast music at a certain level also. Those things should not have permission, though the local authorities in the area should not even be given permission for those persons to establish in certain areas in the first place. And we all have a responsibility.
Based on zoning and all of that.
Exactly, because and let me tell you, in when I served on the very first town council in Bartica ever. In 2016, I served on the town council there. I was a part of the works committee. And these are things that we had to look at. And, you know, a lot of times persons would come in and they would apply for a license to do a shop song. And we said, no, but you can't do that because this is a residential area. And they said, but, you know, somebody did something and said, yeah, prior, this body was not in. So a lot was done differently. But now we were in that position and that seat of responsibility for the people. We knew that we could not just do that, because me saying, giving a nod to say I don't have an issue with somebody setting up a shop there, and then the neighbor now completely in misery, elderly persons can't sleep. We had to even go to the point that wash bays that were in operation prior to the establishment of the council, they were working something until 12 p.m. and all sorts of nonsense in the night, because the trucks coming out of the interior and those guys trying to do whatever. But then there was a case with an elderly woman. She can't sleep at night because of wash bay, and those
the pumps,
the
the heavy
pumps,
stuff,
it was noisy. So we literally had to
Can you
call all
imagine
of them
trucks
in.
going in and
All
out?
the wash bays had to be called into a meeting, and it was a decision was made at the level of the town council that wash bays will not operate after 6 p.m.
But I thought built into this system, especially if somebody gonna have a party and so on, the police would
you have to have
the neighbors.
Yeah, no, that's
if they were
not,
ready, if they were willing
the
to have.
police is not, no, the person that is applying for the permission to do this event, to play loud music, have to actually go and get signed consent from the neighbors that they don't have that they don't have an issue with it. So persons need to be aware of these regulations that are actually there. So when you call the police, you're not calling them and asking them a favor. You're calling them, number one, to ask. The first question you should ask when you call the police is, did you give permission to XYZ to have this event? And if not, the police have to respond by going and shutting it off if permission was not given. And permission have to be given from the police for the loud music. Permission have to be given from the town council when it comes to having parties and all of those things. The local authorities altogether have a responsibility, but persons need to be informed. And if the police said yes, they did get permission, like, well, I'm an immediate neighbor to this person, I never signed any form saying that I am in agreement with this.
Active citizenship.
But
take a listen to some of what happened on what was transpiring up to recently on Sheriff Street, for instance.
It is now 1:44 a.m. in the morning, and this is what is coming from Lisa's restaurant and bar. I don't know how much more this cruelty we got to go through. I don't know how much more this cruelty we have to go through. Lisa's restaurant and bar. Don't know how much more of this we got to go through. I don't know how much more of this. The police ain't doing nothing to stop it. Nothing.
Again.
Wow.
Wow.
I'm looking at it. I'm telling Sherry that one of the things that we need to acknowledge is the fact that when we raise our voices to these plight that we're having, suddenly we get action. And I think that every single time something is publicized, that is when persons actually jump up to action.
Could you imagine
I can't sleep like that. Listen, it's crazy as it is, but when it comes to my rest, when it comes to my sleep, I work too hard to not have a good night's rest. When it comes to my sleep, lights off. I want total darkness. I want to be at peace. I don't even want the TV on in the room. I can't sleep like that. So for someone to be in their home, this is not somebody shack up nowhere, they're squatting on no land up across the road from no business place. This is someone's home. They have spent money, invested, they're paying their taxes, they're living in a space that was provided to them, and they were supposed to be assured protection from at least mental health, peace when the night is. And one of the things that I want to mention very quickly before we move on is the fact that you said a little earlier that when the party was being held in, I think was Essequibo, based on that, right? The person said expletives was being shouted out. You know, for someone that have children of my own, I can just imagine, like, you don't use expletives in your own house, you know, but now there's some DJ with a microphone believe that he has the authority to invade your ear space and the ear space of your children with foul language. I have no tolerance to that. So that would have ended very, very badly if it was me. I kid you not.
Yeah, you know,
very badly.
That stuff can and you are absolutely right. You know, if you move into an industrial area, then it's a given you get noise. You can't tell people with the business to be quiet down the machinery.
That is the setup.
That's the zone. That's the zone you're in. But there, if you're in a residential area, then it's totally different. You gotta comply by a different set of rules and standard. But we're happy to report that since we spoke about that issue on our affiliate program In the Ring, we were made to understand that the police did visit the area, and it looks as though this woman is going to get some, and the other residents there, they're going to get some redress, and we're happy about that.
Wow.
Right?
But persons probably have to come together and form some kind of NGO that deals specifically with,
anti-noise,
you know, anti-noise,
you know, people
you have to speak up.
Businesses got to make money, but they got to be also cognizant of the fact that your business might be in a neighborhood that is residential.
Yes, you have to enclose that noise. You have to make your facility noise proof if you want to go at a certain time.
You know what the challenge is? It comes back to what you said too. The people who own an establishment or even frequently, they probably don't even hear the noise.
Yeah, they're at home in a neighborhood.
To it. They're acclimatized to that noise. So they don't hear loud music. You know, that kind of thing.
Listen, a lot of persons that owns large establishments that disturb the peace of ordinary citizens go home to their nice gated community homes that nobody can dare shout across too hard.
Yeah.
You know,
this is what's been happening. And we're happy in a sense. You have this active citizenship.
Yes.
People have been speaking out. You know, it's not like pre-2015 where, you know, people just comply. And that is part of a robust democracy, and we just love it. And the current administration, they've been at the receiving end of this because they kind of welcome reception. We think that they might have been expecting at some of these outreaches they've been having. It has not been the case at all. And these outreaches are now like the wild West folks. You know, starting from Ejil and the strong reprimand that he received there. It used to be that when Mr. Jagdio is at a location or in a room, he commands the attention, but like people don't be concerned now that if he's there or not, you know, and people, because they've been so economically hit with the cascading shutdowns in the economy and the accumulation of darkness, that people just want their voices to be heard, and they want somebody quiet them down, you know. This is a long time. So let's start with Ejil and the reverberations from this, because this was quite telling. Quite telling.
The only sector leaving this country to upgrade. And when I was the chairman in 2007, I was appointed by the head of the secretariat to represent Guyana to formulate the CARICOM Fisherfolk organization with all Caribbean country in Grenada. But prior that, when I came back,
all right, Ejil, not now. Please have a seat. You're just disrupting.
Yep. That's interesting. That is quite interesting. So that was part of the engagement in Region 5. And that's what we say. This is Ejil we see every day in the National Assembly. Always loud, always boisterous. And then you have Gail who always try to come in and say, oh, he's a preacher, so he speaks loud and carry on loud. So you must have allowance for that.
But that's one, as I said yesterday, what is most alarming about that particular situation is that there they are on an outreach. They're supposed to be paying keen attention to the concerns of these. The man literally have a microphone and he is pouring out his heart and his concern. And Ejil had
doing their own thing.
Ejil had no interest in what he's there.
Everybody doing their own thing. And then there was a big auntie as well, Julia.
Oh my God!
We call her big auntie.
I take my hat off, tip my hat if I had it on to these folks, because they are doing what we have been asking persons to. They have been speaking out. They have been saying that this is what it is and we cannot deal with it. We cannot live with it. This is the situation. They have not been sugarcoated, and I'm so proud of you.
Yeah. So here is Big Auntie again, the active citizenship. Active citizenship, making her voice heard. Again, the complaint is that lots of the PPP officials in these regions, and as the letter writer says, even in the government, corrupt, doing their own story, self-interest, they ain't got time with the people. So Big Auntie was making her voice heard.
President of the people, hi, born of us, we make representation to that land, and we never just set up. We have to say it's a hero you put here. President of the people, hi, born of us, we make representation to that land, and we never just set up. We have to say it's a hero you put here. It's a priceless force you put here at Mimi to work fair. But you see, Mandela is a wicked man. I could say it right out. He is a wicked man. He only needs money. The poor people that need money, right? He knows about our issues 10 years before this. 10 years. I read it on my swamp like 10 years ago. Ask them what they get for that land. And you ask them what they get. These people have no shame.
The Nandalals of this world, folks.
So they have
the
no
Nandalals
shame.
of this world.
They
They're not serving you people. That's the challenge. You're not serving the people.
You know, that woman, she's speaking there, and you see that she didn't come there to make a show. She came there at a level of beyond frustration that she could not take it anymore. Basically, she couldn't take it anymore. She has had enough, and she could not take it anymore. And I am glad she is there. They said they want to meet with the people and address the concern. But guess what? The only thing that they're not doing is addressing concerns. The concern of the gentleman that spoke a little much before that woman, his concerns are not going to be addressed. Well, Edja wasn't even interested in hearing it. The woman, she is so passionate about what she's saying because these are issues that affect her personally on a day-to-day basis. Her concerns are not going to be addressed. What they're there to do is to take pictures and say, "Oh, we had outreach."
That is it. They wanted a photo op. They're not listening to
but
the
the people are not there about that.
And there's another issue that I think it was Prime News. I think it was picked up on it.
I can't remember.
I think it's Prime News, and we actually have the insert. Another gentleman too was asking about his NIS, and if that man didn't ask with NIS, we would never know NIS was bankrupt. And then we were trying to swing it and pin it on the last administration. Quite interesting, but we're going to talk about some of that on the other side. Again, you have this active citizenship.
Drag your little ball.
Let's go. Active citizenship, and people are speaking up, and it's something to be encouraged. Anybody that's speaking up against wrongdoing, and people trying to fight them, I come in and fight on their behalf.
Oh my goodness.
Right? I come and fight on their behalf. Active citizenship. Transparency must become real. You know, all these nice things about Vindia must become real. Good governance and the whole slew of them must become real. So here's it. Another person speaking up.
The National Insurance Scheme is bankrupt, according to Vice President Barron.
I'm sure we do.
The National Insurance Scheme is bankrupt, according to Vice President Barron Jagdeo. Jagdeo made the disclosure at Bath Settlement, West Coast Berbice on Wednesday, in response to a resident inquiring as to why there has been no increases in NIS pension. The Vice President led a team of government ministers and other functionaries on a cabinet outreach in Region 5. According to the Vice President, the blame for there being no increases in NIS should be laid at the feet of the former APNU-AFC coalition government.
Takes 1 year.
I don't understand what you mean declaration.
Well, the media said, then I get one increase in.
But comrade, you know the NIS bankrupt. You know the NIS bankrupt basically. That when APNU reduced the 7,000 sugar workers, it's 7,000 people less were contributing to the NIS. When 35,000 people lost their jobs, the base fall immediately. We're struggling now to make sure and we got to put in money ultimately into the NIS to keep it floating so people who retire can get their benefits for the next 100 years. That is what the consequences were. So,
the gentleman, however, seemed not to be too concerned with the explanation offered, as he was just interested in getting his increase.
Not good.
That's the actual study.
The simple ask something that if you are sitting in bankrupt, there is money where you can go and get to that. Hold on there. We are simply ask that if
You tell me where the money you get.
last man there is a rule that if NIS is bankrupt, you can go to the consolidated fund.
Oh, really? Yes. So the boy. No. He's right. Actually, the consolidated fund. He's absolutely right that you can go to the consolidated fund. But you think money just fall from the sky into the consolidated fund?
Jack Joe said the focus at this time is not on increasing benefits.
Not on increasing benefits, but on keeping the current people getting their benefits, receiving them. That's the focus. So that's your answer. Right now, that is not the focus on increasing, but to keep current people. So every month making sure that those who are getting a check from NIS, that they can continue to get a check.
So there is no increase?
No, at this point in time, no. At this point in time, no.
The national insurance scheme went into a downward spiral when the previous People's Progressive Party government, under then President Barra Jagdeo, invested almost $6 billion in the now defunct insurance company Clico and nearly $1 billion in the Berbice River Bridge.
Yep.
First of all, the first thing I want to say, guys, if you know me, you know what I'm going to say. I am so proud of the individual, and what it shows there is the fact that everyone is in tune. Information is being spread. Persons know exactly what they're saying. When the guy, when he asks a question, where are we going to get the money from?
I don't think he was ready for it.
I don't think he was ready for that.
He was ready for the answer.
Guys, a consolidated fund, and he was a little taken aback there because. If you remember quite clearly, guys, anybody that was following the budget presentations and then after the interrogation of the estimates, question after question was being asked by the members of the opposition as to, where is the oil revenues going to be? They said, ask the finance minister. What projects are going to be utilizing the oil revenues? Ask the finance minister. When he got to the finance minister, what he said? He said, we're going to be taking all of the money, put it into the consolidatory fund. So, that young man, that man is on point. He has been following. He is well informed. And he's basically saying in not so many words, he is saying, don't come and tell me trash. That's what he's saying. Don't come and bring the nonsense to me. Persons are fully aware of the fact that the PPP, I find it amazing that the PPP, it's like they believe that they are still in a time prior to 2015 in which they could just go to these outreach and just spew propaganda blatantly, just willfully go and give misinformation, and persons would not be able to hold them accountable. This is 2022. This is not prior to 2015. Technology has empowered persons and technology has empowered information sharing to the point that they are not ready for it, right? That man is so informed, not because he was not waiting on Barra Jagdeo and his team to get there to give him information. He was waiting on them to say, hey, you're doing nonsense. I have the information.
This is how I know. Don't tell me you don't have money to consolidate fund. And then Jagdeo asked, and money don't follow the sky. I think it's followed to the NRF. Into the consolidated fund.
But that's the system as is. But it must be noted and it must be brought. We must have the conversation to the fact that the blatantness of Barra Jagdeo to say that the previous administration, the previous administration caused
it's being caused the billions of NIS
to be bankrupt
in the bridge is
into Clico, into the bridge. And you seriously come
plus,
here?
As Kemraj told us on last night's program, the returns for the 5% the private investors put into the bridge, they're getting 23%.
Oh my 5%. Goodness! And NIS right? Now, it is
but it's the other people. It's the other people's fault, right? It is the other people's fault, right? But folks, believe it or not,
I am proud of the fact that persons are informed.
Citizenship. That's what it's about. Active
citizenship. But you know what? I want persons to know is this level of basic views out. Someone is there. You say you have an outreach. The persons are there to bring real concerns. They say, "What's going on with NIS?"
They went for photo op.
Let me tell you something. There's no excuse for not having better NIS. There's no excuse altogether. You are there. You are saying, and I keep saying, when you talk about the biggest budget ever, don't try to say, oh, well, when this is the first administration that is utilizing oil revenues, and persons want to see how they will directly benefit from it. And no, it's not like what Mark Phillips says, it's something to trickle down. What nonsense is that?
Where you find the money from? If they don't do gas to show the foolishness, everybody's saying I'm a white elephant. they will have money, right? And airport and stadium that nobody asks for.
Going back to Amayla Falls again.
Right? They would find money. And folks, if you think that is it, you're going to want to stick around.
It's not done.
You're going to want to stick around for the big issue, because the big issue is as real as it gets. People got real problems in this country. We got real problems, and we aren't addressing them. I think it was Manza on our program yesterday morning, the morning prior, who was saying that we got some issues in this country that's seething just below the line there, right? Just below the line. Everybody, it was one Guyana. When you put that one Guyana to the test, you find it wanting in lots of instances. So, you know, there's a story that is making the rounds on social media that was put out there by Andrea Bryan Gardner, I think is her name. And she had an experience in one of the public parks during that, and it leaves much to be desired. And that's our big issue this morning, because I think it touches all of us as Guyanese. It touches all of us as Guyanese because of the content of it. So Andrea Bryan and her daughter apparently went to a park in, I think it's Brianville. First and foremost, if persons would notice the pictorial we have here, there's a swing in the park, and it has reserved Karen's swing. Swing gently. Right? It says reserved there. And Andrea articulated on social media the issue that she encountered here. And in her post on social media, she says, a question was posed to me that shocked me. I was in the Bel Air Park. I was in the Bel Air Park with my daughter recently. We were sitting on the swing. The park is usually padlocked, but I'd go when I see the gardener in there and the gate is open. No one else was using the park, just the two of us. As we sat in the swing, a woman came in to check on his work, the gardener that is. Apparently, you usually have to collect the key from her house to access the park. I assume she's responsible for the park's maintenance, since the community upkeeps it and has installed a number of features like a rock wall, monkey bars, trampoline, etc. In the past, it was overgrown, but now the garden is beautiful and well kept. And I've wondered why more people don't use it. I've even encouraged others to visit. Now I understand why. The woman saw us in the swing and approached us asking me, are you a resident of Bel Air Park? To which I responded, why would you assume I'm not? She indicated she wasn't making any assumptions, and again asked if I was a resident. I further asked if she asked everyone this question, to which she responded in the affirmative. Andrea goes on to state, and then she explained that this park is only for use by Bel Air Park residents. I said, oh, I see. Then we don't have a problem. She then said for the third time, so are you a resident? Still in shock, I said, staring blankly at her, yes, I am. She responded, that's all, it's simple English. She then told me in a condescending manner that if I read the sign, she then told me in a condescending manner that if I read the sign, it says I should swing gently. At this point, I was furious, but I kept my composure since my daughter was next to me. Plus, I'm not a confrontational person. I said, I'll keep that in mind. And she left. I thought to myself, was I just Karen? Then I read the swing sign. The irony made me laugh. My family has lived in Bel Air since the early 1960s, but not many people in the area look like us. Was the entire yoga group I saw a while back questioned like I was? Was a group of diplomatic vehicles of expat mothers and their babies also made to feel like they had to present proof of address? I never thought I could feel that way in my own country, let alone the community I grew up in. Does maintenance mean ownership? What if I didn't live there? Would my daughter and I be asked to leave? Many people and children have been turned away from public green spaces because of this discriminatory practice. Why do I need to ask a resident for keys to open the padlock on a community park? Is it maintained to be looked at from the outside, or is the park meant to be used? Even the residents hardly use it, yet someone has built a reserved seat for themselves. Perhaps my real crime was sitting there. Can His Worship the Mayor, Councillor Ubraj Narain, and other councillors, Alfred Mencho was tagged here, indicate if the Bel Air Park has been transferred to private lands? that can now be regulated? Who may or may not enter? Is it some sort of public-private partnership in exchange for maintenance? My suggestion is a sign with opening and closing hours and basic rules of the park. No littering, do not remove flowers, no loud music, indecent language, etc. should be placed there. And finally, folks, in as much as I can still use the park as a resident, I believe it is wrong to have a policy of exclusion of a public space to orderly citizens and families, or anyone for that matter that is willing to keep the peace in a residential area. If this is the policy of the Bel Air Park Committee responsible for maintenance of the park, it should be reviewed, since I'm sure it is not legal, nor would they want to be seen in the same light as the colonial predecessors, who had elite exclusionary spaces that only a certain class or hue could enter. They too may have found themselves locked out. And then she ends by saying, Andrew Bryan Gardner, that is, I'll be returning with friends.
Yes.
That's in our country.
Yes.
This is Ghana.
Wow.
This is Ghana for you.
Wow. Karen's swing in a public in a green space.
Yeah.
Not in Karen's yard.
Yeah.
Is it serious? Is that a serious sign? I am between whether or not this should be taken seriously.
Yeah.
Whether they sign it
This got a lot of
me,
traction on social media.
You know, for me alone, I would have gotten a hammer and just go and knock off the sign and ask the guard to please give Karen her sign. And if Karen so desires, she should come and take her property back into her yard.
I appreciate, as Andrea does, that the space is maintained by private citizens.
No, maintaining a space like that, you can't put signage on a particular thing and say it's for a particular person. You know, this is called swing gently.
Yeah.
Listen, sometimes
that's serious.
I think I want you to repeat. I'm gonna ask you nicely to repeat something that you said that I hold dearly, and I keep pushing it forward. When you said your lecturer spoke to you about the stables in UG. What did she say?
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, there's an area in UG. I think when UG was building, it was built as a temporary space to house students. And because the look of it is these small buildings, they call them the stables. They actually look like stables when you look at them. They call them the stables. And, you know, our lecturer was making a point. And she said, you know, the stables, and she explained to us, that was built for about a 10-year usage span. She said has been there for perhaps 30, going on 40 years now. And she said that is what happens. She said when you settle for less, temporary becomes permanent.
That is it. When you settle for less, temporary becomes permanent. If you settle for the fact that particular woman, I'm glad she said she's going to be returning to friends, because you cannot settle for this. It cannot become the new normal that you can go to this space. This is a space within an area that this woman grew up. She lived there.
And that's what a lot of people said. They go into the space too. They ain't got time.
Well, I am compelled to go and swing on the swing.
I want to take a selfie.
I want to go swing there. You know, this is crazy because you cannot settle for less. You can't let this become the new normal. This is not what we represent as a people. And if someone believes that they want to have that level of separation from society, whatever, and they want to be distinguish themselves to that level, to literally put Karens. I don't know if I should take it seriously. Is this a joke, or is this like a Karen joke?
No. That's
like
actually, because here is Andrew Bryan Gardner saying, I understand why a lot of people don't use the park, because if you got to confront that, you know, not everybody's like Andrew, you know.
Yeah.
Right? People, if they engage in that, once I say enough, that park for the rest of my existence.
I'm not like that.
Right? That is why she said, I understand now why this is just a decoration. Is that an actual space that is being used?
Yeah. But if you there's so many things wrong about that. There are too many things wrong.
But due to there are bigger issues here, that is a microcosm, as I said, of an issue that is seething just underneath the surface in this country, and it's going to take real leadership.
Do you think it's under the surface?
It's going to take real leadership, right? It's on the surface because clearly Andrea Bryan Gardner didn't know it was there, right? Didn't know it was there until she encountered Karen Swing, and she thought she was just Karen.
Tenants Tenants in your own land.
Tenants in your own country.
That's what's come to mind here. I think we need not settle for less, and we need not have temporary to become permanent. As Guyanese, we're less than 1 million people. Let's start there. We're less than 1 million people here. We have the issue of race. We have the issue of class. We have all of those issues. And another issue that we definitely do not need is an issue with any but this is not this situation per se, but the issue of any foreigners more so. And I'm just saying this, share, because part of that correspondence that you read spoke about the fact that you had the expats and those persons, leaving because they were there utilizing the space freely, because she said because she looked a certain way, she's been interrogated with questions of that nature. Let me tell you something. We have the power to carve out how we are going to be treated in the future, especially with the new dynamics. The fact that you will have so many other persons with interest into your country right now, it is our responsibility to make very well sure that we do not let these little things slide by and say, it's not such a big issue, because these things are going to develop into very large issues. And if we don't put our feet down right now, it will press on, and as this little temporary situation, as persons may see it, it could become a very permanent situation in which Guyanese and residents of certain class and all of that. I'm not even going to just leave it. It's race, it's class, it's nationality. It's all of these things are going to play a key role in how we project ourselves and what we accept moving forward with this new resource that Guyana has suddenly embarked on. It has some pros, but the cons is also there. The externalities that comes along with the resource that we have just discovered, this new resource and all of that, it is coming, and you need to address it spot on.
Yeah, when I read that, I had to read a couple of times, just like you. Is this real?
No,
Guyana, is this right
no.
here?
The first thing I want to say this, because the first time I saw it was I think was Gordon Mosley posted it, and he said Karen has landed in Guyana or something to that nature. And I thought it was just blatant Karen's joke, because folks that are frequent to social media and you utilize social media platforms often, you would know this whole thing with the Karen, someone acting like a Karen and all those things, but it's very selfish, blatantly.
Why won't Karen do take this jumbie bird? That's why I want Karen to take ownership of this jumbie bird here. Right? But when I read the letter, I said, what struck me, I said, this is Rosa Parks refusing to go to the back of the bus.
Yes. My goodness. Yes.
This is
How
Rosa
is it
Parks
that you live in a country all your life?
refusing to go to the back of the bus. Right? Do you live in this area? Why are you asking me all these questions? Is it police?
Yeah. And you have to sometimes you have to return questions with questions yourself.
Right. I can imagine going to National Park and somebody asking me, do you live in Georgetown?
Yeah.
Why are you running in the park? Please maintain this bench. You understand the absurdity?
Yeah.
Right? You go in the promenade. Do you live in which street is that? Church Street or Middle Street?
No, but just imagine, as a resident, you don't even have to be living in Bel Air. You could be visiting a relative within Bel Air. Does that exclude you from utilizing a facility?
No, but what if you're passing and you just see a green space and you see,
My goodness, it's supposed to be a safe space. So if it's like that, then the public needs to be definitely informed, and that is something that I would be definitely following up and lending my voice.
Not all green space safe, apparently.
My goodness.
Not all green spaces.
Because I think there should be, and you can't.
That's something to share the live stream.
You can't exclude
that's something
persons. You can't exclude persons from accessing green spaces.
A public space, because you can have your own green space that you create in your private property.
In your backyard.
But a public space.
My goodness.
A public space. And I think Andrea is so right when she says she identified the problem, but also the solution. You should have signs that say, use well, whatever the case might be. But you can't say, don't go in there, you're not a resident here. Right? It's where we live in. Right? And as we go along, Judah, and we make more money as a country, right? You're seeing how the divide, and the perception too, because she says, not a lot of people that look like me. You got to read that. Live around here.
I didn't read past that.
Right?
I read
not
it.
a lot of people. And outside of that, it was Amanda and I talking the other morning in the program, and we were telling her, remember when Professor Yates, was it Harvard or Stanford, was arrested in the university community where he lived, 10-year professor, bright, right? Because a policeman saw him standing on the front porch and thought he was going to break and enter.
His
was
own
the man's
house.
house.
His own
and
house.
arrested him.
I think Obama himself has
That's
offered
what
an
we
apology.
talked about, leadership, because that's what the point we're making. Obama led from the front.
Yeah.
He said, look, I think he had a beer summit or something like that over that. He invited both of them to the White House. And he said, we got to raise problem in this country. We got to deal with it.
Yeah.
Touting a one Guyana motto, ain't gonna solve it. But real leadership. But you can't solve those problems if you yourself racist.
Yeah.
Right? That's the challenge we have. Right?
Embedded.
And when people look and see how you doling out resources, it smacks of racism. You can't deal with it frontally like that.
No.
You can't. Right? Because when your supporters, you got to lead on your supporters and say, like John McCain said to a woman in Israeli, that man is not Muslim. No. We may have differences. When she was accusing Barack Obama of being Muslim and coming from some Muslim country, he said we may have differences politically, how we going to lead this country, but that is not right.
Yeah.
That is not right. And that is leadership. That is leadership. Frontally addressing the issues, and that's how we can move this country forward.
I think we should go take a swing on
leadership. Karen swing.
I think we should go.
You live in Bel Air, right?
Do I need to? I am going to tell you that if I am told that because I don't live there, I can't access the facility.
Karen swing.
Then I'll be asking to see, the documentation that actually gives.
Folks,
that
all
authority.
roads lead down there, Bel Air Park.
I think we should
all roads
go have a picnic at Bel Air
All
Park.
roads lead to Bel Air Park. All roads.
It's crazy. It's most ridiculous.
Right? And y'all look for Karen swing. Take your selfies and send it to us.
The classism.
Look for Karen swing.
Separation. When we spoke about the fact that the policies being instituted by the current administration will keep widen the gap between the rich and the poor, persons didn't really understand what we were saying and the repercussions, the ripple effect that is going to come down from those things.
You live in Bel Air?
Yeah.
Right? We must all be treated a certain way. You got people who treat you a certain way.
Yeah.
And then when they recognize you, I realize you.
Yes.
Right? And then the whole demeanor change. I say, well,
sometimes you can go somewhere. I have so many experiences. Listen, I'm going to share. You're going to just indulge me a little bit on this because I'm going to share some experiences that I've been having in this country as it pertains to racism altogether.
That's a taxi experience.
No, I'm gonna mention it because I look. This is just a fact. I look how I look. My skin is clear, my hair is straight, and I look a certain way. And because of that, persons perceive naturally that I have a similar ideology to them if they look similar to me. Right? And because of that, I have heard some of the worst things when it comes to racism in our country.
Yeah.
And I want to share this specific experience because you cannot just sweep it under the carpet. I was in a taxi and I was going
somewhere.
Well, forget about where I was going. Nevertheless, there was a driver on the road that he came across into the lane that the taxi driver was in, that I was in. He just came up without putting on the indicator. So the driver was upset. He sucked his teeth, the nonsense there on this road. Agreeably so, he should have put on his indicator. But then when he was passing the guy now, he switched lane. And when he was passing the guy, he looked over. And this is the Indian driver. I'm not saying it's to fuel racism by any means. But sometimes some things are so pressing that you have to mention it, right?
It's what it is.
And he was passing and he looked over and he saw the driver for the car that the switched lane without putting on the indicator. It was a black guy. And his reflex comment that came from him was, these people, and he used word, these people, right? These people don't got no sense. So he doesn't know me. I got in there, I have on my shades, I got on my mask, right? It's COVID environment. I just said where I was going. So I'm not going to have that, right? You're not going to do that with me in the car. So I said, stop the car, right? And I said to him, I said, you are the reason that we are where we are as a country right now. And I said, it is persons like yourself that put us in a situation that even your children will not live comfortably in because of that mindset. I said, you go and tell it to Roxanne George. I use her name. I said, you go tell it to Roxanne George that those people don't have sense, right? I said, you go tell it to her. And he was very stunned. He said, I sit as a member of parliament and we speak about these matters, but it is ridiculous to have to experience it.
It's there every day.
I don't care if I have to walk the rest of the way, but I'm telling you, and I say this to you because that's a taxi driver. He's not going to have issues with collecting monies from everybody. You hear Corley, it's straight. However, he's not going to be having an issue with collecting your money, but his mindset, the embedded bias that he has, and I want to say this too. I rather suspect it's because I look this way meant that he felt comfortable to think that I have that same ideology that he has. I don't know if he expected me to agree subconsciously. Another taxi driver, same thing. He looked back at me and my sister and said, I'm sorry, y'all probably have, Afro husbands or so. And I said, that's not the case. This is not a comeback, and I have experienced it too many times to just push it off though this is not normal. We have a serious issue with racism in our country. We cannot continue to live like that. And I want to say that I grew up in Region 7 in Bartica, and I was brought up, look, my family, the diversity of my family is phenomenal, and I am thankful daily for the experiences that I have had growing up in Bartica, and the fact that when what my experience on the coastline, the blatant distinction, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
We're different.
Sharad, we have a long way to go as a country, and I say that my children don't look far from me. My daughters, they don't look much different from the way I do, and it is so amazing that I am proud of the way in which I have raised them, and I think I have been doing my part in society, and we all need to do our part. But I remember my daughter, someone was home by us, and they're having a conversation, and they refer to someone. They're trying to explain who this person is, and they're saying, this girl from whichever street and so forth, and we weren't understanding, and said, this, or say, I think this Indian girl. My daughter stood up and she said, no, we don't refer to persons by ethnicity first, we don't see like that. Say something. The tall girl, the slim girl, the girl with the long hair, the girl with the short. And I was most amazed that she said that, and I felt like I was doing a good job. And my children are learning that they do not see race first. They see other things, They look to character and all of those things. I'm super proud of the children I'm raising. And I said it's a long way to go. We have a lot of work to do, but guys, oh my goodness, we gotta keep it. We have to keep it. We gotta keep it. We ain't gonna solve all the problems in our lifetime, but we can damn well try. But every time I experience a situation of racism, I always think that we probably need to just name and shame these persons. It needs to be something needs to be done, because racism should be unacceptable, and nobody should just sit down and just accept it as is. Well said. I gotta take a walk around my Karen party. I think I'm gonna take a swing. Karen's park. I feel the unique urge to swing. Yeah. So a little aggressively. Yeah. No, I don't swing aggressively. Yeah. That's our time, folks. That's our time today. Final program for Let's see our comments as Final program forward. For release the comments. Release the comments. Release the comments. Sometimes we don't release the comments, From the Bronx, Edward Gonzalez. Don't even call it in. Everybody know. Everybody know. Why is it from the Bronx? Edward. Listen, Edward, I come to see you in the Bronx. Respect manners. Ram Singh. Right? The mixed group in Guyana is increasing. Good to see you. That's a good comment, Ram Singh. The shackles of racism. That's it, Ram Singh. It's a step in it's a good move forward. But listen, don't ever think that the mixed race is just increasing naturally. And some people have to go through some crazy family beliefs. Folks, to get there. FYI mugs, I see somebody asking. Yes, they are for sale, and we're gonna let you guys know how you can get one very soon.
Very shortly. Bear with us. Yes, they will be for sale. Because we want you guys must have your FYI mugs when you're all FYI-ing in the morning. Right? We want you guys to have your mugs.
Glycis Mingo Burn. I like Glycis name more.
Always the boat. Always the boat. Yep. Always the boat.
How are you guys? I hope that
Bella Mona is here.
I hope that everyone's gonna have an awesome weekend.
Be gentle with yourselves. Go ahead and be great this weekend.
So Shirley Crichton said we want swing too. I think we should all be headed.
All roads. Bel Air Park. Check out your selfies. You want to see them. Smash that emoji button before you go, folks. Smash the emoji button. Share. Postman's get credible and valid information.
You think we're gonna be given the keys to go to the park?
You might get the keys. You might get the keys.
But we should actually separate ourselves and
might get it. Make it a skate.
We should do a study to see who gets the keys.
Right? But that being said, guys, partner with us because that's helpful to us too. To get this message out day after day. Program after program, we got Zelle, we got PayPal, we got MMG, available via MoneyGram, via Western Union. I missed something. There's a lot. We got PayPal, Zelle.
You did money.
Cash App.
I
think I was going to forget.
I think I missed
Cash App. Guys, you want to know how? You need some guidance. 627-6963. It's our MMG number. It's our, you can WhatsApp us there as well. So WhatsApp number, MMG number 2627-6963.
Alexis says she's sorry she didn't see me when I was there. Alexis, don't worry, and come back.
Barbados?
It's right there, yeah.
Ready one? Alexis, you're busy.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Thanks everybody who send the things. We know we like we practice with guys.
The things.
All you folks who send the things.
The things.
We're so happy.
Share said like that. I see Don Cook here with us. We have to plan a picnic to that park. Don.
Yeah.
We there.
Yeah. we actually contemplating a hangout.
Yes.
Right. We gotta meet some of you folks locally, and we're coming closer to where you are. So Julia was in Barbados recently, and we're planning some other places too.
Yeah.
Because we like the vibes. We're feeling the vibes again.
It's good to meet persons on the ground, to actually have a more on the spot appreciation for what the work that has been done in the diaspora, like Guyanese living there, and how they feel about what is going on back home, and the appreciation that they have for the communication that is provided through these programs also. So we appreciate each and every one of you. And most definitely, I think we have to organize and to get on the ground with these folks to make sure that their voices are heard, not just through the comments, but face to face as well.
Correct is right.
Yes.
Correct is right. Make a lot of sense this morning. Guys, you're gonna see.
They say women are a strange bunch of creatures. The woman is the only group that could take a compliment and put it into an insult. So I want to ask, I don't make sense in all the mornings,
Well, that's our time this morning. That's our time. That's our time.
It's not a woman. Oh, you heard her. It's not a woman. You look so nice this morning. So I don't look good every morning.
Different. Y'all different. That's our time, folks. That's our time.
Have a good day. You'll be joining.
Well.
It's a good weekend.
Joining us.
You'll be joining the podcast at 12 and also 8 p.m. in the ring where everyone comes. People like to fight. I didn't realize how many people like to fight until I noted the thousands that come to throw some punches in the evening.
Yeah, and I was in a store yesterday, and I said, "I know you from somewhere." I said, I know, Steve Fowler. There's probably one police line up in the front. Steve Fowler.
You told the girl you Steve Fowler?
Steve Fowler. But she don't from a police lineup.
I had such a lovely experience. I must come back on the flight. I have to mention it here that the young lady, the flight attendant, she's Guyanese, and she was saying to me, oh my God, I know you from the program. It's so nice to meet you.
Oh wow, you having a fun moment?
Yes, I was getting a good moment. She's like, we usually give snacks but it was stopped during COVID. We're gonna be giving snacks from June again. I was like, no trouble.
Fun moment. Love it. Yes. Love it. And so, it's good to see you guys. Good to touch base with you guys whenever we have a chance to. And thanks for endearing this program to yourself and your family. It means a lot to us. Thanks for the support. Thank you for the love. That's our time. Have a great.
Have a lovely weekend.
Oh, one of the things the young woman was telling me, she said, you seem so quiet, but 8 o'clock is a different you.
Oh, we posted a picture yesterday,
I said, well, you don't come wrong with funny, so I ain't got reason to fight. You don't come wrong with funny. So I ain't got no reason to fight you. So,
but we posted a photo yesterday
yes.
on your the Sher Duncan page.
Damn, you look good.
And the three of us, also with our
good.
co-host Amanza, and everyone was saying, Sher, you look so innocent between those two girls.
I am.
Person's like, we can't believe it's the same person that's in the ring. Someone called me and said, I don't understand you, right? So when you were shared on this program, you just got shared tie up like a tiger.
Loose me, let me go,
Teresa. You can't say certain things.
Loose me, let me go.
I said, you think I want these people carrying me up the court steps?
Loose me, let me go. I feel like Tommy Jones. Please release me, let me go. I know my tunes, I want you to know. The show I walk out. I'm falling back. Tom Jones.
My goodness.
That's our time.
We have.
This is like the final. This is like
this is the final.
Stay safe, guys. Stay safe.
Have a good weekend.
We should get to one hour and a half. We're just like 20 seconds
shy. Well, that's what I was thinking.
We're like 20 seconds shy of an hour and a half.
So there's Andrew there's Andrew Cusberg. There is Shalana. There's Maureen Coppins Williams.
Almost there.
And there
Andrew Cusberg and Currens. We're right there. Here we go. Hour and a half flat. Bye, guys. Bye.